Hi students, welcome back to the revision class on 4th module clustering and association rule mining. So in the previous lecture we have studied about clustering. In today's lecture we are going to study about association rule mining. So let us start with association rule mining. Associate rule mining is a popular unsupervised learning technique which is used in business to help identify shopping patterns. What is this shopping patterns? So when we go to some mall or any e-commerce websites, we browse to the items or we search for the items, right? So we don't shop any item randomly. We first make a list of items which we want to purchase and then we go on searching the items. If we go for any mall or big bazaar or any grocery stores, right? So there is a shopping pattern which the sellers need to understand. So what is the relationship between the products or which type of items will be oftenly purchased by the customers or which type of items will be purchased together. So these type of relationship or patterns need to be understood by the sellers, then they can extend their business. So this type of technique is also called market basket analysis. It helps finding interesting relationship between the variables or items or any event. And all the data which is used in association rule mining is categorical. It is not continuous, it is categorical data. There is no dependent variable because it is unsupervised learning technique. Therefore, there is no dependent variable in this technique. So, let me explain you with an example. A customer who bought a flight ticket and make a reservation or hotel reservation is more likely to buy a rental car plan. So, what do you observe from this data? A customer who has bought a flight ticket and a hotel reservation. What do you understand from this data? It means that the person who has bought the flight ticket and has made the hotel reservation, it obviously indicates that he is not from that city. So, he has come for that city for like maybe 1 week or for any work, right? It means that he does not have his own vehicle. He has come for that city for some business work or any personal work. So, he is going to stay there for shorter time. So, instead of buying taxis or any Uber services, he may choose to have a rental car plan. Correct. So, this happens almost 60% of the time. So, the customer who has bought flight ticket and also has made the hotel reservation is more likely to buy a rental car plan instead of taxis and Uber. So, this happens almost 60% of the time. So, if the seller or the business analyst understands this relationship, then he may easily extend his business. So, the hotel providers may also give some rental car plan. So, the customer will not go out or will not go outside for rental car plan. He will purchase the rental car plan within that hotel itself. Okay. Yeah. Next comes business application of association rules. How association rules can be applicable for business applications. So, in sales and marketing, it is used for cross marketing and cross selling, catalog design, e-commerce site design, or online advertising optimization, product pricing and sales or promotion configurations. So, this analysis can suggest not to put one item on sale at a time, but to create a bundle of products promoted as a package to sell other non-selling items. So, usually what sellers will do is, instead of putting one item on sale, they will put non-selling items along with the most selling items. So, when you go to Big Bazaar and all, you must have seen an offer called buy one get one free, or if you buy this pant you will get one shirt for free. So, you may find these type of offers, right. These type of offers are included because to avoid non-selling items. So, what they will do is, they will put one non-selling items along with other selling items and they will promote their products. This is one of the business tactics. And the second application of association rule is in retail environment. In retail environments, it can be used for store design. It means that strongly associated items means strongly related items will be kept close together for customer convenience. For example, usually bread and butter will be kept together or kept nearby, correct. So, because we know that the customer who buys bread is more likely to buy milk also, therefore, they will be kept together, or they could be placed far from each other. One technique is to keep two related items together, or they will be kept very far from each other. Why? Because the customer has to walk to purchase that particular item, the customer has to walk. So, while walking, he will be exposed to other non-essential items also. Then he may develop interest in those items and he may purchase those items also, even though he does not need those items. The human tendency is that whatever we see, we feel like purchasing them, right. Therefore, while walking to the essential item, some other non-essential items will be kept and the customer may develop interest in those items and he may purchase those items also, even though he does not need those items. That is the second application of association rule. And the third application is in medicine. So, in medicine, this technique can be used for relationships between symptoms and illness. So, doctors will study the patient's symptoms. They will go through the patient's symptoms and they may find the illness, or they may conclude this is the illness which he is suffering from. So, what is the relationship between symptoms and illness? That can also be found by using association rules. Then we have representing association rules. How to represent association rules in a more specific way. A generic association rule is represented between a set. So, they are represented by a set x and y, and the more general way of representing is x p y, and inside the bracket we have s% comma c%. So, this is the more generic way of representing association rules. X p y, and inside the square brackets we have s% separated by comma and then c%. Here x and y are sets. Sets of what? Sets of products or any services. And x is the left hand side of the association rule and y is the right hand side of the association rule, and this p is the symbol of association rule. It is the association rule symbol. And what is S? S is the support. Support indicates how often x and y appear together in the data set. How oftenly x and y appear together, or we can call them as union, x union y. How many times x and y appear together in the data set. So, this is represented by P of x union y. Here P indicates probability. Probability of occurrence of x and y together. And C is the confidence. It indicates how often y is found given x. How many times y will appear when x has occurred. So, we can represent this using P of y given x, probability of y given x. So, again there is one example for association, representing association rule. The previous example which I had explained, hotel booking, flight booking. So, the same example can be represented in association rule in this way: hotel booking comma flight booking, and these are one set, this is x. P rental car, this is y. This is the left hand side and this is the right hand side of the rule, and 30% is the support, means x and y appear together. So, hotel booking, flight booking and rental car appear together 30% of the time. It is the support, and C is the confidence, that is 60%. What is that 60%? How often y is found, how often rental car purchase is found when this is given. So, it is 60% of the time. So, almost out of 100, 60% of the time rental car will be purchased when hotel booking and flight booking has occurred. So, this is the representation of association rules. Yeah. Let me explain you one example. Suppose there are 1000 transactions in a data set. So, there is a data set which has 1000 transactions in it. There are 300 occurrences of x and 150 occurrences of x and y. So, x alone appears 300 times out of 1000, 300 times x appears alone, and x and y together appear 150 times. So, out of 1000, 150 times x and y appear together. So, our goal is to find support and confidence for this association rule. Let us find support S for x p y, that is support for x p y is probability of x union y, right. Probability of x union y is nothing but how many times x and y has appeared together? It is 150 times. So, how to find the probability? Probability is nothing but total number of occurrences of x and y together divided by total number of transactions. So, that is 150 divided by 1000, that will give us the probability of x and y together. So, probability is 15%. So, support for x associated y is 15%. Now, we have to find the confidence. What is confidence? Confidence is nothing but probability of y given x. We need to find how many times y has occurred when x is given. We have how many times x is given, means p of x we have. So, p of y given x is represented by probability of x and y together divided by probability of x. Probability of x and y together can be written like this. What is x and y together? It is 150. Probability means divided by 1000, whole divided by this one, whole divided by probability of x. Probability of x in the sense how many times x has occurred alone, that is 300 times, right? 300 divided by total number of transactions, because we are finding the probability of x. So, 300 divided by 1000. So, this 1000 and this 1000 will get cancelled. Therefore, we are left with 150 divided by 300, that is 50%. So, confidence for x associated y is 50%. Is that clear? Then we have multiple number of algorithms for generating association rules. Why association rule is needed? We have seen there are many business applications using association rules, right? So, in order to extend our business, we need to have some association rules. Okay. Even though we have thousands of association rules for our data sets, not all association rules are interesting and useful. We may be having thousands of association rules, but not all of them are interesting or useful. Only those that are strong rules and also that occur frequently can be used. What is the meaning of strong rules? So, the main goal of the association rule mining is to find all rules that satisfy the user specified minimum support and minimum confidence. So, for every data set there is a concept called minimum support and minimum confidence. So, if a particular rule is having more than or equal to this minimum support and minimum confidence, then that rule can be called as strong rule. So, if an association rule need to be useful or interesting, then they should satisfy minimum support and minimum confidence. So, there are multiple number of algorithms which generate association rules. Those are a priori, ECLAT, FP growth and many others. So, among these algorithms, a priori algorithm is the most popular algorithm which is used for association rule mining. A priori algorithm is the most popular and effective one. And the main objective of this algorithm is to find subsets. We need to find the subsets that are common to at least a minimum number of the item sets. So that subset should be common to at least a minimum number of the item sets. Okay. Then we have a concept called frequent item set. As I have told, if a association rule need to be useful, it has to be frequently occurring or frequent item set. What is frequent item set? A item set is said to be frequent if and only if its support is greater than or equal to minimum support threshold. An item set is said to be frequent or frequent item set if and only if its support is greater than or equal to minimum support threshold. So, for every data set there will be a minimum support threshold. It depends on the programmer. He may set the minimum support threshold. There is no hard and fast rule that this should be the minimum support threshold. Okay. So, you will be given with minimum support threshold and you have to make sure that your frequent item set has this minimum support threshold or it satisfies this minimum support threshold. And also a priori property is a downward closure property. It is a downward closure property. It means that any subsets of a frequent item set are also frequent item sets. So, if you take any subset from the frequent item set, then that has to be frequent item sets because it is a subset of frequent item set. So, it has to be frequent item set. For example, if you choose any subset from ABCD which is a frequent item set, then that subset will surely be frequent item set. That is, ABCD is a frequent item set, then any subset such as ABC or BD or AC or AD are also frequent item sets. So, these are the some of the properties of a priori algorithm. So, in the next class we are going to study one of the exercise problem of association rules using a priori algorithm. Okay. Let us see it in the next class.